So are you thinking about moving to Niagara-on-the-Lake? Niagara-on-the-Lake has been consistently voted as one of the top places to live and visit in Canada year over year. Also known as the wine capital of Canada. In today's video, I'm going to go through the top 6 things that you need to know if you're thinking about making your move to Niagara-on-the-Lake. Let's get after it.
What's up, guys? I'm Andrew Kulakowsky. Only days away from summertime. I remember riding my bike up and down this path. There's a reason why homes in this neighborhood sell so fast. Going to Tim Hortons, our local high school. If you're serious about location and you love to entertain, are you ready? So let me show you why.
If this is your first time on my channel and you want to know everything about what it's like living in Niagara, from work, play, eating, buying and selling real estate, and literally everything else in between, then make sure you hit like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I post up videos just like this one. What's up, guys? I'm Andrew Kulakowsky, and I'm a local realtor with eXp Realty and born and raised right here in the Niagara region. I help hundreds of people year over year buy and sell real estate here, and I absolutely love it. If that person's you, then make sure to call, text, email, DM, whichever works for you. But I've got your back if you're thinking about making a move to the Niagara region. Now, the population of Niagara-on-the-Lake is currently at 19,000 people. And when people think of Niagara-on-the-Lake, obviously there's probably 2 things that you think of. Yes, wineries, and second, probably historic Old Town. Now, when everybody thinks of that, they think that Niagara-on-the-Lake really is just Old Town. Now, there are actually 4 other areas that fall within the Niagara-on-the-Lake boundary. You have St. David's, Virgil, Queenston, and Glendale. Now, the number one thing is that Niagara-on-the-Lake is a tourist town. And like any tourist town, it's going to get busy throughout the year. And sometimes there are disadvantages to this. Each year, Niagara-on-the-Lake has 3.5 million people visit the area. And in peak times, like summertime being obviously one of the busiest times of year in Niagara-on-the-Lake, if you live here, the one thing that you know you have to do is make sure you book reservations if you plan on going out for dinner, and be prepared that you're probably going to wait when you get to the restaurant. Now, one of the biggest challenges with a tourist town, of course, is also parking. And this is probably one of the biggest pet peeves to a lot of residents who live in Niagara-on-the-Lake, especially during the summertime. And if you are visiting Old Town, Queen Street is a very tight street. So there isn't a lot of parking, and a lot of the side streets tend to get very busy as well. So this is one of the big things you're going to have to contend with if you are actually living in Old Town Niagara-on-the-Lake. Also, Queen Street, you have to expect a lot of foot traffic and lineups outside of restaurants, shops, and a lot of the boutiques. And number 2, again, this might be pretty obvious, is that it is expensive in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Anywhere you go in Niagara-on-the-Lake, you could expect to pay more, from going to a restaurant, booking a hotel, from coffee to groceries, and literally everything else. Now, depending on what time you go, parking can also be very expensive, especially if you get a ticket. It's known that in peak time, a ticket or a parking infraction costs you $25 to $30. Parking enforcement is high in Niagara-on-the-Lake, so you definitely have to be on watch. And that $7 cup of gelato, yeah, it's expensive, it's really good, but it is 100% worth it if you're visiting Niagara-on-the-Lake. Now, when it comes to real estate, the real estate in Niagara-on-the-Lake is the most expensive in the entire Niagara region, with the average house price currently at $1,152,000. And if you're thinking of renting, an average 3-bedroom, 2-bath home is going to cost you anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a month, plus utilities. And number 3, restaurant/store hours. Now, what do I mean by this? Now, I can tell you from personal experience that the hours in Niagara-on-the-Lake are a lot less than places like Niagara Falls or St. Catharines. Now, obviously, this is what really does make the town quiet at time and bring a lot of charm. However, it can get a little bit annoying if you plan on venturing out a little bit later for dinner time, or if you plan on going to have some drinks with some friends. A lot of the restaurants kind of close around 10 p.m. and a lot of the wineries tend to be the busiest during the middle of the day and into early afternoon. Now, there are 2 pubs in Old Town Niagara-on-the-Lake that are open till 1 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. And if you're looking to party late on a Friday or Saturday night, then Niagara-on-the-Lake is definitely not the place. You're going to want to go into Niagara Falls or St. Catharines. And number 4 is that there are no big box stores. Now, again, obviously, this is what really does make Niagara-on-the-Lake. The fact that they don't have big box stores is actually a draw to the area. Now, again, if you're from out of town and you're coming from a big city, this is something that you need to know. A lot of the time, if you plan on doing any shopping at grocery stores or any type of other big box store, you're definitely going to be driving a lot more and probably planning your trip to go into either Niagara Falls or St. Catharines. A lot of the time, a lot of local residents spend time shopping locally at a lot of the boutiques and shops that are located in Virgil, St. David's, and in Old Town Niagara-on-the-Lake. Now, moving south down Highway 55 and taking you into Virgil, what you're going to find in Virgil now is that there is a lot more development taking place. You're a lot of mixed use and commercial development with a lot of different stores and bigger names moving into those areas. So if you want a little bit more variety, then taking the trip into Virgil is probably something that you're going to be doing quite often. And number 5 is that Niagara-on-the-Lake has rental licensing in effect. Now, this is super important because as a local resident, obviously, it's important to know what type of rental licensing is taking place in your town or city. And if you're an investor and you're looking at investing in Niagara-on-the-Lake, it's important to know all the laws and regulations when it comes to rental licensing. Now, Niagara-on-the-Lake has a third-party partnership with a company called Grancious Government Host Services. And what they do is they are in charge of all the compliance and laws and rules that come with regards to rental licensing. Now, all of the rentals, B&Bs, Airbnbs, and VRBOs have to be listed publicly in Niagara-on-the-Lake. So you can actually find this information of who the owner is and what the property address is on the Niagara-on-the-Lake website. Every short-term rental, whether it's an Airbnb, Vrbo, or a traditional B&B, must be advertised through those specific websites. And the Niagara-on-the-Lake website also has a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week contact if you have any issues or complaints about any of the rentals that are taking place in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Now, it's important to know that the town takes strict order and they have their finger on the pulse when it comes to short-term rentals. And number 6 is that there is no hospital in Niagara-on-the-Lake whatsoever. Now, there are medical clinics, there are walk-in clinics, but this is important to know that if you do have an emergency or you need to go to the hospital for whatever reason, many of the residents are driving to either Niagara Falls or the St. Catharines Hospital, which is approximately 25 minutes no matter which direction you go. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are 6 things that you need to consider if you're thinking about making the move to Niagara-on-the-Lake. And remember, if you're thinking about making that move tomorrow or in 2 years, make sure you call, text, email, reach out to me. We can schedule a Zoom call and I can help get the ball rolling with your move to the Niagara region. But that's all for now, guys. We'll see you all on my next video.